Welcome, everybody, and thank you again for joining us for our next episode of the Business Spotlight series. My name is Aaron Wright, and I'm a business coach here with the Action Coach Peachtree. We're an international coaching firm. We've got over 30 years of experience with thousands of coaches in over 85 countries globally, and we're really excited to be a part of the business community, helping business owners to turn their jobs into growing, thriving companies that function on their own, passive income, helping business to revive while their businesses thrive. So again, Aaron Wright with Action Coach Peachtree. And today I am joined by.
Hi guys, my name is Vernon Hypolite, owner and founder of BOSS Contracting, Atlanta's premier restoration services. We do water, mold, fire, and bio type of restoration services in the greater Atlanta area.
Awesome. Very good. So today we'll be going through a few questions that we've pre-prepared for Vernon, and we'll be talking about his entry into his market and the steps that he took to start building his business, find out where he's at now, and then get some pieces of wisdom, some chunks of gold from his story that you as a potential small business owner can use in your own business. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. So Vernon, tell us a little bit about your business. You introduced kind of what your service is, but why did you get into this particular kind of business? Why this particular brand of contracting, and a little bit about you.
Actually, I stumbled upon restoration. So what we do, it's if anybody's familiar with contracting or even just home ownership or anything, we tend to deal with a lot of people when they think contracting, they're thinking of remodels and HGTV. We do more of the ugly side of it. So if you have a flood, a pipe burst, or you had a sewage backup, or if you had a house fire, you had mold. Another thing is, God forbid, somebody passed away in the house, and it's there for an extended period of time. Somebody's got to come and clean it up before we can make it look pretty, and that's where BOSS comes into play. And like I said, I kind of stumbled upon it, just doing various odd jobs, trying to find my way while in my 20s. And I just stumbled upon a restoration company, and I saw what they were doing, and I got wind of their profit margins, and I said, you know what, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
One thing, other, when there's a will, there's a way. And 6 years later, we're still going strong and still looking to build and grow in the Atlanta area.
Very good. So your company is 6 years old. Tell us about those very first few months. How did you get your start?
Like I said, I was working for a restoration company, and we ended up going different ways. And like I said, I already had that bug. Like I said, I can do this. I can start my own contracting, come back and start my restoration company. So as we started, parted ways. Luckily, that was the same time, tax season came around, so I got my tax return. So I said, I could use it as an investment, or I could splurge it like almost everybody else does.
Yeah.
Took that check when it got, my licensing, bought some, couple pieces of equipment. Of course, they were used at the time because restoration equipment get pretty expensive. If you're not familiar with it, if you have to do restoration, you have to get, air movers and fans and dehumidifiers and moisture meters, and you're gonna need a truck, you're gonna need a trailer. So of course, I would be buying everything secondhand off, Facebook Marketplace or eBay, wherever I can. And I just kind of put the word out there. I let people know. I went on Facebook, started a Facebook page, Instagram, because of course social media is the easiest and the best marketer we have today. And the first couple of months, I'm gonna be honest, I would say I'm lucky or blessed, whatever you want to call it, because I kind of hit the ground running. When I went online, I didn't just say restoration though. I was taking handyman work. We were taking contracting, anything we can get, just using leads like Angie's List, Thumbtack. Just took small jobs, and one of the small jobs that we took, I do was change faucet repair, and I see a lot of times with faucet repair, those people would have water damage, they wouldn't even realize it. So that's when I say, hey, this seems like a active water leak. Your insurance company could most likely pay for it. Let's see if you can run it through your insurance company. And that's how I got my first couple of restoration jobs, and that was pretty much it. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about where your company's at now from a size perspective. You don't have to give us any proprietary information, but give us a sense of scale. How many employees do you have? You said you serve kind of the southern, the Atlanta area. Give us a sense of size and what your company looks like today.
Yeah, when we first started, I was just a one man show. And now we've got a few trucks, we got a trailer. We have, of course, there's remediation. That's when we come and rip everything out and clean it. Then we have a reconstruction side. So my remediation, I use a lot of young guys in my area, in the Riverdale area. Just like I like to give back to my community, and I like to use people that look like us in our community. So I use them. I have about 5 or 6 young guys that I use for that. And then on my reconstruction team, I kind of got a group of guys, especially with reconstruction. You want to have guys that know how to work with each other because they're putting stuff back together. So I have 2 reconstruction crews that I subcontract out to, and those crews can run from anywhere from like 3 to 5 guys. So at any given time, if we have a couple jobs going, I can have, up to, anywhere from 5 to 15 guys going at one time.
Well done. So for you specifically, your job, what do you do on a day in, day out basis? Obviously, the first year or so, you're probably out there, you're doing the sales, you're doing the actual restoration, you're driving the truck, you're doing everything. What are you specifically doing now? Where have you moved into? What does your day look like?
It's been difficult, but we have a saying in the contracting world, especially if you own the company, you have to get to a point where you have to take the tools off. This basically means you got to get out the job site. It's easier said than done. I'm still working on it because there'll be some days when I'm just doing admin work so much, I get the itching. I'll just throw the tool belt on and I'll find a reason to go to the job site. But for the most part, I'm still doing sales. I'm still doing a lot of the marketing, but like I said, a lot of the labor now is I had to start delegating that part of it, which kind of makes or breaks you as an owner for a contracting company. Because if you're working all day on the job site, by the time you get home, you don't want to do any estimates. You're not going to want to do any invoicing. You're not going to want to deal with any, employee issues. So delegating that labor is something that I do now. So I'll just mostly, when I wake up in the morning, I'll go ahead, check the emails. I'll get the crew started for the day. If I need to go on the job site, I'll go on the job site. If not, I'll talk to the customer or the foreman, and get them going. Then I'll just, I'm kind of just making sure that the stuff in the back room is running straight. That we keep jobs coming in and we keep money coming in and customers happy.
Hmm. Being a small business owner can be, or can feel some, and I know so can feel sometimes like a thankless job sometimes, because you're the only one who feels like cares sometimes. Sometimes you got a team, but a lot of times you can be on your own. So what are the kind of the heaviest burdens you're bearing right now? The impact on, small business owners deal with issues with, kind of working so many hours that it impacts your family, or, it's stressful getting new clients. What are some things you're struggling with right now that you're learning about that another small business owner might also be feeling?
When I'd say the biggest struggle is when everything that could go wrong goes wrong at the same time. And some days it just happens. It just, when it rains, it pours. And it's easier said than done to don't stress over the stuff you really can't control.
Mm.
Control what you can control and make the best with it. Another thing for the small guy is don't compare yourself to the bigger guys. Don't get me wrong, you want to use that as motivation, but don't compare that guy that's been in business 30 years. You've been in business first couple of years. You see they got trucks on the road. You see they got billboards, and you're like, I could barely even get this truck wrapped.
Right.
I just say, because you don't know what that guy's going through. You don't know what that business is going through, to be honest with you. You might be debt free. Like, you might be a small debt free company, and they're in so much debt that it's going to take them a lifetime to get out of.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest struggle too, is, it's seeing that it'll soon come. I always tell myself that, when you got that goal and you see that the bigger guys got it, you'll get it too, but just give yourself some time.
Yeah, I think one of my mentors put it in a way. He said, "Don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20." And is your story isn't over yet.
Right. Exactly.
That's awesome, man. So, as a small business owner, I would imagine you have some advisors of some kind. So, who are the people that you trust to give you advice when you need it, and what do they do, and what's their role with your company? How do you use them?
I have my inner circle is no new people, to be honest with you. It's my mom, that's number one. And then I have She's all the above. She's my business partner, life partner. You can call her whatever. I've known her since I was 15 years old. I'm 30,
Oh,
going on
wow.
30. Two children together, so she knows me pretty well too. So those are the two people that I go to. I say my mom first because my mom, she's been in business. She's a beautician, and she's owned her own beauty salon on 40 years this year. So
Wow.
so she's been through it. She's gone through it for decades. When I try to come to her with a problem I think is new, she's gone through it 10 times.
Mhm.
Um, so I always go to her. And then, like I said, Amber, my wife, I'll definitely go to her as well. Just because I've known her for so long. So they have no reason. Plus, they have no reason not to tell me the truth, no matter how ugly it is. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? 'Cause, yeah, I still got to deal with them. So I still have to deal with
They have the same incentives you do. Yeah.
right. So and like I said, those are people that I know they want to see the best for me as well, because whatever benefits me is going to benefit them as well. So
Gotcha. So let's pivot a little bit from the kind of the formation of your business and kind of how you make decisions and what your role is to the business itself. So tell us about what you do, and more specifically, what makes your business special. If you're in a competitive situation, potentially there are other bids out there for some work. What is a reason a customer would go with you over your competition? What do you hang your hat on as your main competitive advantage?
in the restoration world, a lot of companies, and I'm not knocking them, you run your company the way you want to, but let's say you call in, you have a flood. A lot of remediation companies come in, they might rip out, let's say your kitchen, they'll rip out your cabinets, they'll rip out your floor, they'll dry everything up, and they'll say, okay, go find a contractor, put it back together, we're out of here, and they'll take their big check from the insurance company and they'll leave you. While I don't like to do that. I want to leave. To me, that's leaving a customer stranded. So when you
Mm,
deal with all boss, we make sure that the only thing you have to do, is just call your insurance company and choose the materials you want to go back with. We'll deal with the insurance company, we'll bill them, we'll charge them, we'll fight for you to make sure we get the most amount of as money back as possible to put your house together. Because one thing we know, if we all dealt with insurance companies, they don't like to just hand out money. And if they can get away with giving 10 instead of $100, they're going to do it. But we'll go in there, we'll fight, whether it takes weeks or months, and sometimes it has taken that long to get you the money you need. And then we'll put it back together ourselves as well. We'll do everything in house. So once from the beginning to the end, you're either dealing with me or you're dealing with just a handful of people. So there's not too much, there's not gonna be too much difficulty with the communications. So that's one thing that really sets us apart, is that we fight for you with the insurance company. If we start something, we don't, we're gonna make sure we finish it until completion and make sure your house is back to where you need it. And all we want you to do is have to come out your deductible for your insurance if you do an insurance claim. But other than that, we don't want you to have to come out of pocket as well either. We're not gonna try to upsell you because it's an emergency service. We're not doing regular remodeling where you guys plan this. The kitchen pipe burst, you weren't expecting that. The house burned down, you guys weren't expecting that. So we're not looking to upcharge you. We just want to get you what's fair.
mm. So you kind of the one-stop shop. So if I have something that happens to my house and I don't want to deal with 18 people, I just call you, and you're going to come in. You're going to take me from the beginning all the way through, handing me my keys back when my house is fixed.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah,
That's perfect.
exactly.
So let's talk marketing then. So if that's your primary competitive advantage, how do you get that message out into the marketplace? How do you get to in front of prospective customers? Where do most of your leads come from?
A lot of them we don't use as many as we used to, like the lead generators. We're using like Angie's. We stick around with companies I've been with since the beginning, of, like, of course, Thumbtack, Google Ads. We have a website, but the biggest thing I found out, especially in restoration, is going to be word of mouth. Is going to be the thing. And the second is just being social media. We have this thing I like to do on Facebook, which is just the platform we're most comfortable with being on. And we go live, call it on site with Boss. So whenever we're doing like a remediation or on the job or on site,
Mm,
go live and show the customers exactly what's going on with a water loss or a fire loss. Because a lot of people don't understand when you say, I do restoration contracting, they don't know what it is. They kind of open up their eyes to it. And And that's when people get more familiar. They say, "Oh, yeah, I remember my aunt did have my whoever, my best friend had a fire. I'll call these guys, and they'll come out and help." So that's been a lot for the marketing. It's just been, like I said, social media, but and word of mouth. Once you get that word of mouth out, especially in your area, you tend to get different phone calls from just the referrals.
So how do you track the leads that you get, and how many leads per month do you get?
Um, to be honest with you, I need to get better with that with my systems and like all tracking and everything like that. A lot of stuff I'm still, I'm still just freestyling it. I'm going in my head every week. Different apps will send me, okay, this is how many leads you got. Then I'll go that and I'll compare that to the income that we had in for the week or the month. So I really don't even I don't have like a set way to track how many we get, but I know that we try to get in at least one good sized job per week. Just because these jobs, if we're doing demolition job, it can take a day to set up, then a couple of days to demolition, do set up equipment. So if we get anywhere from 4 to 6 leads a month, we're pretty good, because like I said, our jobs, they range from it could be just a small bathroom flood to a full house is burned down. So but that's pretty much it.
Gotcha. Do you do? I think you mentioned earlier you handle still most of the marketing. Does anybody else touch that for you? Any of the marketing or sales? Is just you?
No, like we have a company that like they build out our website and they do the SEOs.
Oh, okay, nice.
I don't really depend on them too much. Like I said, I know they side up. I know they were on Google. But for pretty much I do the marketing, all of it, whether it be like I said, social media or word of mouth. It's pretty much it. I touch it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, most business owners, they start off as entrepreneurs. Essentially, they just kind of swap one boss for another. Where, yeah, I used to report to some guy or girl at my previous company, and now I report to my customer, and I'm the only guy here. And this is basically just a job. The goal is eventually to build a system or a company that lives on its own, kind of like having a kid, where you got an infant that needs your attention all the time, and then when they get to be like 13, 14, 15, they almost never need you, and they're off doing their own thing. So at what stage development would you say your company is at so far? How if you were to go on vacation for a month, would you be able to do that and come back and your company be bigger? At what stage of development would you say your company's at right now?
Like I said, we're 6 years in, but I say we're still relatively very, very young. Like I said, we've been growing the company very slow, like I said, because I kind of stumbled upon this restoration company. It wasn't like I grew up. A lot of contractors, when you hear their stories, so it's the same. My grandfather did contracting, my father did it, so it's in their doing it. So it was kind of like they hit the ground running, while me, it wasn't like that. So I had to kind of learn as I went. So that's why I wasn't really too much in a rush to scale, because like I said, I didn't want to put too much of a burden on myself. I don't want to get to uh, $1 million problem, and I still don't know how to solve the $500,000 problem. So that's why I kind of went. Of course, I do want to get there someday, but I couldn't leave the company for a month and come back to being bigger. I'll be surprised if it's just the same size it is. I definitely
Yeah.
But like I said, I know that's the part I want to go to next, is because we really haven't even done too much branding yet. Like even putting billboards out there, even our trucks, our trailers, we still just use a straight just black theme. Just because putting wraps, we're gonna get a lot more phone calls, and I want to make sure we have power to deal with it, because you could even get dinged on online with reviews just because you're not keeping up with phone calls. So I like I said, once it goes too fast because I'm so money hungry, and then kind of hurt myself in the long run and have to rebuild it back up. But the plan is, of course, to have a whole slew of trucks and guys out there doing it, and I could just check in, count my company in and check out.
Absolutely.
A couple of years, but I'm in it for the long haul, and I know we'll get there.
That's awesome. That there's a lot of wisdom there, and that's exactly what I was looking for our audience today. It's very tempting to do the things that will make you a quick buck. It's very difficult to rest and to know that the approach that you're taking is the right approach, and that you're growing in a measured way, so that you don't sacrifice customer service, you don't sacrifice your current situation in order to run after something that's ultimately going to make you destroy your business because you went too fast. That's awesome. So, and you touched on it kind of here. Last couple of questions for you. What, you kind of hinted at this a second ago. What is your ultimate goal with the company? Some business owners ultimately want to build it and hand it off to their son or their daughter. Some of them want to build up an asset that they then own and then can sell, or build it up and then own it and then buy another business, or potentially sell it to their employees. Have you given any thought to ultimately where your business is headed?
Yeah, I've thought about it. And of course, my plan is just grow it as big as I can in my lifetime. Hopefully, one of my kids could take it over and grow it even more if that's what they plan on doing. I never really gave the idea of selling. Just because with the name Boss, a lot of people think I came up with the name just because I want to be called Boss, but it was actually my grandfather's nickname because my family's from Haiti, and
Oh,
he
wow.
started a contracting company, construction company in Haiti, and his goal was for it to come to America, which it just never came into fruition. So when I was thinking of the, I say, well, since he never got to come to America, I'll just name it Boss after him. So I always thought if I sold it,
Wow, that's amazing.
be selling my grandfather's, his legacy. So I was like, what, I'll try to keep it in the family. If they want to do it down the line, that's on them. But my grow it as big as I can, and just so he could look down and just be proud.
Mm. Man, that's awesome. That kind of adding that family heritage into the very fabric of the company you're trying to build is awesome. That actually kind of goes to my last question before a couple of rapid fire questions, is more around culture. You mentioned you building a team, and you've got your grandfather's name, really, the name that he built in the actual fabric of your company. So when you're bringing on subcontractors or employees, how do you vet those people? How do you know when to hire? How do you know who to hire? And how do you make sure that they're in line with the culture that your grandfather was trying to build?
Um, I'll be completely honest. I'll give anybody a chance. I don't know how many
Mm.
people I've literally walked into their house and they might have been out of a job, and I'm like, hey, you want to work? I'll give any because anybody can do this type of work.
Mm.
Anybody can do this type of work, if you just apply yourself. But what I look for is drive. That has to be one thing. Work ethic is something that you just can't you can't teach it. I can teach you how to cut, I can paint, but I can't teach you how to want better and or to do good when nobody's looking. Like when nobody's looking, are you still gonna, are you gonna wipe off that little splat of paint that you left on the floor, something like that? Or are you going to even paint the closet and nobody's gonna look in? Certain things like that. I look to see if God, there's little things that you'll see, or I'll look for even little character things like if you see a guy hasn't eaten, didn't bring lunch all week, and then somebody might even just offer them, you
Mm.
know, about something, bro. Or if they go and get some water while we're working outside and they only bring water for themselves, it kind of shows me, character traits. I might not want to make him the team leader, because if I make him the team leader and it's hot, he's gonna like let his guys pass out. Certain things
Mhm.
like that. Check on the guys and make sure they're drinking water and stuff like that. Um, so again, it's little hints and little tips and trades you look for. That like I said, I want guys to just to look out for the next man. That's something. Don't just always be yourself, because that can, especially in this line of work, you want people that are gonna, because you could be in a crawl space and things can go wrong. You could be in an attic, things can go wrong. So you want somebody to be aware for themselves and for their team. So
Man.
that's the type of culture we try to build here, is look out for everybody. Um, I know it sounds cheesy. I know a lot of everybody says it, but like, kind of be a family. I know we're only a family
Yeah.
to a certain, but even when you're here, I don't want you to dread this job. I want you to at least, I know it's hard work, but at least that, everybody here cares about you, even the person that's employing you.
Mm. Man, that's awesome. There's not a lot of companies that do that very well, and that comes from ownership. You have to care about the people that you work with, that work for you. And if you don't care, they won't care, and you can hear that in your voice. That's probably the biggest takeaway so far in our interview is just loving your employees, just taking care of them. So I've got 4 rapid fire questions for you right here at the end. So give me just quick answers if you can. What is your number 1 key to success so far? You've been in business 6 years. What's your number 1 key to success that you'd share with someone?
Key to success is gratitude. Just be grateful.
Mm.
Because are now you wish you where I'm at now. I wish I was six years ago. So don't let a couple bad things, throw you off. See what you have, and don't dwell on what you don't have, and just see how well you could do to get what you don't have yet.
Gratitude, man, that's powerful. What's and akin to that, what's your one biggest piece of advice for a new business owner? So we want them to be grateful, but what would your one piece of advice be from a technical perspective?
Don't plan to get rich overnight.
Mm.
Don't plan on success overnight. Plan on more failures than successes. Because you're gonna have more like it's just the way it is. Don't be afraid to go broke because you're gonna go broke. On and on.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Being, facing the future and facing failure with courage. You're gonna learn more from failure than you will from success a lot of times.
Yeah.
What is one book or what book you're reading or podcast you're listening to that impacts how you think and approach your business right now?
Um. Right now, the book that impacted me the most. I the name of it is fleeting my mind, but it's a story about there's a store called Shoe Show.
Mhm.
I don't know if they have it in your area, but
Okay.
it tells a story of the guy that started it and how um, he basically he saw all his competitors and he wanted to make
Under the radar.
under the radar. Yes, under the radar. And basically, it's a small shoe outlet. If you ever see, like, if you have a Kroger, if you have any type of shopping plaza, you always see it like in a strip mall. And he did
Mhm.
that. Like, he didn't want to own the building. He wanted to make the cost of doing business as cheap as possible. So he passed down the savings to his customer. Every loan that he ever took out for his business, he paid it back in full early. He ran like 10 miles a day, no matter how old he got. I think he even got to the point where he was running so much he fell in his old age, bruises broke his face. He still kept on running.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
the guy's story is amazing, and it's nothing crazy that not everybody can relate to. He's like an everyday's man.
Mm.
But yeah, if you go read that book, it'll definitely put some fire under your entrepreneurial bond.
That's amazing. That's awesome. So
Podcast,
we'll
podcast. It's gonna have to be the MF and CEO podcast, Andy
okay.
Frisella. Just because I listening to him made me delve into the 75 Hard program, and that program kind of shifted me to. I've done that program twice,
Yeah.
and that changed my life as well. So I always tell guys, if you want a good podcast, go listen to Andy.
Very good. Awesome. We'll take those two and link those actually for our audience. We'll link those into the description so you can find them. And I'd actually offer you, Vernon, one that I recently read. There's a gentleman named Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's kind of considered the guru of marketing, but he got his start with gym ownership. He and his wife started a gym, and he was just getting started, and then he put out a couple hundred flyers over the course of a couple of weeks, and he wasn't really getting anything from his marketing efforts. And he talked to another gym owner who was very successful. He said, "What are you doing that's making you successful?" And that gym owner said, "Oh, I send out like 3,000 or 4,000 flyers a week, not a couple of hundred flyers a month. And he's like, oh, wow. Okay. I really need that fire lit under me. This isn't going to be easy. I need to do it more. I need to do more. I need to do it better. And I need to do it different. And so what he learned in building his gym empire, it's that entire kind of story. So it's similar to Shoe Show, but maybe a little bit different. It sounds like it's a narrative you might be able to get a lot from. So, and Alex Ramosey's $100 million leads. But I'll link that in the description also. But that really kind of concludes our time here today for our interview. Again, tell us a little bit more. Where can we find information about your business? So if I'm looking for a contractor, or if I need emergency remediation, or if a friend that does, where can I find you?
I'll just give you the similar spiel I give to everybody. You got a water loss, you got a fire loss, you got a bio loss. You're going to call BOSS 1-833-BOSS ATL, BOSS Contracting ATL.com, and BOSS Contracting ATL across every social media platform, guys. So it doesn't matter what you need. Like I said, water, fire, mold, biohazard. Give us a call. Check us out on social media. Check us on the website. Like I said, BOSS Contracting ATL. Just put that in your Google, and we'll pop up everywhere.
That's amazing, man. We'll link to all of those social media and website also in the description for anybody interested. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. I know our entrepreneurial audience is going to get a lot from your story and be able to take a lot away and apply it to their own business and their own approach to building their own little empires. So again, thank you very much for spending time with us today. That concludes our Business Spotlight series. Please join us again for our next episode. And if you'll like, comment, and subscribe on the video below, YouTube will make sure to keep us at the top of your feeds. You'll be ready when the next episode does drop. Again, I'm Aaron Wright with Action Coach Peachtree, and hope you guys have a great day.